All right, here we are at K2 Music for another edition of You Can Play It Too. And we have the all-new Blackstar ID60. The ID series is a brand new series to Blackstar. And this is a very unique amplifier, or a very unique series. What we have here is a solid-state amplifier with an output stage that has output tube emulation. TVP, standing for True Valve Power, is this whole section here where you actually can change the sound of the output stage of the amplifier to replicate like a tube, and we'll go through that. This will be a long demo because there's a lot of sounds in this amp. And to my knowledge, this is the first time this has ever been done. There's a lot, but no one's ever done it with a tube simulation, and this is an amazing amplifier. So I'm going to start off with the 6 voices of the amp before we even get into the TVP. Just simply, I'll just play a couple of chords on each. It starts over here in the voice control. I've just got the amp set clean. This is clean warm. Just a nice warm clean sound. Clean bright. Now I've got the gain set. I'm in manual mode. There are presets on this amplifier. It's all MIDI storable, program recall, all that. I'm just going through the basic functions. Here we are with a clean bright. It's a little thinner, a little more top end. There's the warm. There's the bright. And we'll continue on those sounds. This is my crunch sound. Now I'm getting a little bit of a breakup. And that's nice with a... Now we have Super Crunch, which is going to, around the same voice but add more gain. I'll explore the range of gain on all of these once we get to the TVP section. Overdrive 1 now. 6 basic settings to this amplifier with my gain on 12 o'clock. My EQ set fairly flat all across the board. Dry with no effects. This amplifier has built-in effects also. This amp also has the ISF control that we have explored on the other amps. And right now I've got it set to the American side. Remember, one side is American tonal circuit and the other side is British. So just in this section alone, there are all, from my hand all the way over, there are all kinds of options. And with effects built in, with the reverbs, delays, different modulation effects, a master section with a resonance control, and a presence and a master volume, you can get a lot of sounds. But really the real jewel of this amp is found in this TVP control. I'm going to show it to you starting off. Now, it takes a little bit of knowledge of output tubes to understand where all these sounds are coming from. And if you don't really know about output tubes, you just play on the amp and listen to it and get a sound that you like. But if you do know about output tubes, you know they all have different voltages, hence different output power. And different wattage amps have larger tubes in them than the small watt amps. So this starts off down at the very bottom here with an EL34. Now, I haven't engaged it yet, so I'm just playing this clean. I'll put it on clean bright. My neck pickup, kind of this. I'm going to hit this. Here it is without it. It's a good sound, a little flat maybe. Now I've got this British tube of EL34, which is found in smaller watt British amplifiers. Now, of course, you can't tell this on tape, but the amp actually feels different when you are playing this. And you're going to say, no, Mac, it's a solid-state amp. I can tell you I've played all kinds of tube amps, and I know the difference when an amp has a little bit of sag and it doesn't. This amp does have that, so you can just feel the way that this is resisting against your playing. And I'll play some more to demonstrate a little later. So I'm going to go down through the clean sound with the different output tubes. There's EL34, American 6 V6, found in the deluxe reverb. EL84 right there. More mid-range in this and a little louder. Now we're going to go to the British EL34, the big brother to the 84. fuller than the 6V6. Now KT66. Another lot of mid-range in this one. Real tight. Don't have a lot of amps that have that kind of tonality to them. 6L6, American sound, maybe a Fender Twin or something like that. A little bit more headroom. As we go up in a larger tube, we gain headroom. We also gain a little bit more volume. And then lastly, the KT88 tube. So there it is in a clean world. I'm going to now, just for the sake of staying clean for a second, just let you hear the effects real quickly before we move on to the crunch sounds. So here we go with a little reverb. That's a hall. Has a room reverb, which is nice. I've got it cranked so you can hear the amount of it. Spring reverb. And a plate. All sounds different. Then we have our delay settings here. We can add delay on top of that. And I've got that preset. If I want to go back and edit my reverb, I can do that when it's green. It's in edit mode, and I can bring it back to maybe the hall that I had. I can control the tap tempo of the delay. I can make it a real long delay or a real short delay. Almost invisible, that short. Take my reverb off so I can hear it even more. So I can change that really easily. I can go back to put some reverb back on, add my modulation effect. Right now I've got it set on chorus. I've got a tremolo. I can change the rate of that tremolo and the depth. And again, here I am over here, a flanger. I can change the rate and the depth on that also. And then at the beginning here was the phaser. So you can see just this effects section is really nice. Easily get in there and edit it, take it out. I'm just going to leave a little reverb on the amp for now. And I'll bring it down so it's not killing me, but a little bit. So I'm going to go now over to my crunch section. Here we go. I'll go up to a crunch setting, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to start down again without the. I'm going to give myself a little more gain. Maybe a good rhythm sound here. Now here it is without the TVP. Here it is with the TVP. So much more fuller and richer. EL84. Got that real spongy sound to it. 6V6, a little bit more mid-range and tighty. Take my ISF control, put it over to the American sound. Now I've got that. That's a good blackface overdriven there. Sounds really. I'm going to stay with that ISF and American. I'm going to go over to the EL34s. Now I'm going to get a little bit more classic Marshall sound right there. Bring the ISF over to British. That real glassy, overdriven sound. And I am just in my crunch setting here. I'm going to take it up to the KT66, hear the mid-range in this. American. To British. 6L6s, we'll go to American sound. Oh, there's that real scoop. Again, my EQ is straight up and down. Here it is without the TVP. With the TVP. Take the ISF over to British. So now I've got that 6L6 with a British tonal sound going on there. And then lastly, the KT88, I'll stay at British. little bit more mid-range than the 6L6 from what I'm hearing here. And I'm just in the crunch mode. There's a pretty lot of gain there. Super crunch, overdrive 1, overdrive 2. I'll jump all the way ahead for time's sake, right up to overdrive 2, and we'll just see what this thing has for everything, all the gain she's got. So here we go, overdrive 2. I'm just gonna dime the gain so you can hear that without the TVP. TVP on EL84s. So much more lush and rich. Now if I crank this up, you know, of course I can't do that for tape purposes, but this amp has a lot of volume. 6V6 CL34. And it is getting louder. I just love the 6L6s. KT. More mid-range there. And then again, I can go to the American side. I'll work my way back down. Again, as we discussed, the low frequency is much more tight now. That's a good sound there, that 6L6 on the American sound. Going down, KT66. All kinds of mid-range there. Coming down again, EL34. Nice and glassy. Here's a 6V6. As my power, as I go down in tube size again, so does my volume go down. So there it is right there, all the different sounds. Not all of them obviously, but a lot of different sounds. You know, you can get some really nice tonalities out of this amplifier. And you know, to me, with any of these amps at a solid state that have some kind of modeling features, the tones that are hardest to get are the in-between tones, the tones that have all those subtle natures and the glassiness. And what the Blackstar has done is given you this output tube simulation that you can get all those nice glassy and mid-rangey sounds that aren't crazy overdriven. You can come to that super crunch sound and play that. That's a nice tight sound. And again, for the price, this is one of the best solid state amps I've ever played personally. Come on into K2 Music and you can play it too.